Hello, my name is Joe Pearson, and this is for AEB 3671. For this creative project, I'm going to talk about water uses and how they can be applied to affect West Africa. In West Africa's history, this country is labeled as a developing country. The reason why is because its economic status is not as high as others, and that it does not provide enough capital and income to sort of support itself. That is why there are many weaknesses to their economy. Though there are numerous rivers such as the Niger River and two others that can help provide and help support its agricultural life. But with those rivers, there are also a lot of diseases. Recently noted is one with the Ebola breakout. And there's also a constant case that there are malaria problems. A couple of the problems in West Africa is that it has a lot of land, but is not properly irrigated and tended to sort of meet the agricultural needs. There's also that the crops have insufficient research, meaning that there are lots of land, but the crops that are planted are not most effective for the area and its topological location. West Africa is a hot place, and planting certain crops that won't yield as greatly as they would if they were somewhere else. And there's also that the land is kept very poorly due to lack of sewage, and that there are numerous amounts of trash everywhere. There are a lot of horrible situations within West Africa. One is the water crisis. Right now, there are little to no water sewage systems set up in place, so that fecal matter and urination is thrown in right with the rest of the water that is used to drinking. So possibly 20 feet up the river, there's somebody washing clothes or just using the bathroom, washing themselves. And on the other side of the river, there might be somebody drinking water, which is causing a lot of these problems. Right now, comparing the actual water use, their sanitation levels is about 18% in West Africa, which compared to the USA is 99%, which is a very large discrepancy between the two numbers. And that's because of the development issues and the actual economic system. It's one of those things where the sewage system and running water is so seen in the USA, like today, where we can easily turn on our faucets and you hear water coming out. Now in Africa, it's not that available. They have to go down to a river, withdraw the water with their buckets or anything that they can use to carry the water with and bring it back to their houses. Currently the water needs to be improved. Like the available water sources compared to the USA is like a 1-to-3 ratio, that in America there's 3 times the amount of water than there is in Africa. Also, there's a problem with this lack of water is that people are dying. The mortality rate in children are about 77 out of 1,000 die, and about 18% have diarrhea consistently due to the lack of water. One way of figuring out a way to help the lack of water is through the creation of wells. I was thinking of creating a program that would sort of enable drinking water to be available to every village, so that they could be used for crops, to also be used for drinking, so that it could help with the injuries and sort of medical problems that are always drawn from the horrible lack of water. The way that they would be implemented would be to find a best place for them to dig for the groundwater, to sort of survey the land and understand where the groundwater is, so that when they dig, it will be there for years to come. Then after that, they would dig deep tunnels and pipe it so that it could survive the test of time, and hopefully like 10-15 years, so that they could use the water over and over again without it being crumbled. Also, another thing would be to teach them about hygiene. Currently in West Africa, there's low sanitation levels, and that the sanitation is causing the injuries, and with the increase in valuable water to be used, that it could help with the hygiene problems and help the water be used more efficiently. And lastly, I would use it to sort of help with the post installation to sort of make sure that once the well is created and that the water is being used, that it won't be used in a way that won't work for like so long. These wells are not always the cheapest, but they could be used and like taken care of to last for a long time. A couple of the benefits that could help, even though that it could be pricey, ranging from 3,000 to 7,000 US dollars, is the fact that it could help with the knowledge and implication of schools with drinking water and other uses of the water. It can help build more and allow for other factors that affect them, such as heat, diseases, and other things to be less evident and less apparent. Currently, with the amount of water there are diarrhea problems, early death due to dehydration, and with the readily available, the money spent towards medical and other things would be used to help sort of research and develop newer crops that can be more efficient. Also, with the water, it can also be used to sort of build their economy in such a way that they could sell water that is used, or there's excess water. Water is the variable of life, and without so much water, they could die. So with the increased amount of water, they could have benefits to affect village to village. There's a large problem with the lack of water. And I think that easily you can add a large amount of water by creating wells from village to village that can help more than just providing water. It can help teach and also build an economic structure to support agriculture. With more water, there's more water to create more crops, and with more crops, there's more people to feed. And with this much water, or with wells in every village to help create more available water, I think that it can help this crisis from being a lack of water to being a developing country into a developed country.